You see this? You like this? You want one for free? Like, subscribe, comment. It's that easy. You're entered in our giveaway. You want a free PSE bow? Like, subscribe, and comment on these videos. Many times as you want. I don't care. If you do that, you're entered. Good luck. All right, people. It is spring. For most people, the turkey season is kind of starting to wrap up a little bit. Here in Wisconsin, we do have a little bit more turkey season to go. But a lot of people, as turkey season ends, the shift starts to take place as to where hunters and habitat managers and everybody's mind goes, and it goes to whitetail. So what's going on right now in the whitetail woods, and how can it affect your hunting season to come? So the main thing that's going on in the whitetail woods right now, and even over the past week, maybe even week and a half that I've started to notice, is people are posting trail camera photos or photos of fawns being born. Okay, so how does this have an effect on your November? How does this have an effect on your October, or even your December? So if we wanted to get a little bit scientific about it, the gestation period of a whitetail is about 200 days. 201 on average is what they say. It can range anywhere from 200 to 205 on average. So what does that mean? That means that if we go back about 200 plus, give or take days, we can figure out when this fawn that is popping up on your trail camera was ultimately, conceived, or the doe was bred. So at that point, why is that even usable information, Brett? Well, if you know when the does are being bred in your area, there's a good chance that you can correlate that, in the future with some of your best hunts of the season. So a lot of times I like to hunt that week prior to peak breeding. That's when you see a lot of the movement, a lot of the seeking, a lot of the chasing, a lot of those bucks looking for does. So if I get a picture of maybe a 2, 3, 4-year-old fawn, or not year, but day-old fawn, take that off the top, and then I, reverse the schedule 201 days on average, we can kind of figure out what time of the year that doe was bred, and then the week prior when she was in heat, and therefore that week that she would be in heat would be one of the best for you to hunt. So right now I've been seeing pictures pop up already. And what does that mean? It means that we're at the beginning of that bell curve if we go back 200 some odd days, as far as when does start to come into estrus and start to be bred. So at that point, if we go back about a week, we'd be looking at about October 15th. If you had a picture of a fresh fawn that was just dropped last week, we'll call it, which would have been right around the 1st of May, give or take, something like that. Maybe a little bit after, that doe would have been bred around October 15th. I've seen pictures, and at this point, obviously you're all gonna watch this video at a different time. I've seen pictures of fawns up to 2 weeks ago. So what does that mean? That means that some of your does were bred, as early as the first 10 days of October. So although it's probably a minority, it's something to keep track of if it happens on a consistent basis, on a yearly basis, because if it does, maybe you should be spending a little bit more time in the woods in October when most guys are staying out. Another thing is, if you were to own multiple properties, you hunt multiple states, it's a good way to be able to hunt, the best part of the season in multiple places, because you might have a property in one part of the country that it seems like a lot of the peak breeding was taking place on November 15th, which is the date that we generally hear as habitat managers and hunters. That's when peak breeding is. So if that's the case on one property, and on a yearly basis, you use your trail camera surveys and your trail camera info to figure out what's going on in your properties, because there might be some consistency, especially with the does on your property, and you find out that peak breeding was a week, maybe 2 weeks earlier in a different part of the country. That might allow you to plan your schedule ahead for the rut, and where you're going to be throughout the country. If you do hunt a couple states, do hunt a couple properties. Hell, it could be in the same county for all we know. Obviously, there's a big difference between when these does are being bred, even on the same property sometimes. It might be October 15th, it might be November 15th. So basically what it comes down to is, if you pay attention to this stuff, you might be able to strategically plan your hunts so that you can hunt peak rut more than once a year. And obviously there's states like Alabama and other states in the South, depending on the herd, and also I guess like the subspecies of whitetail that are in those states, that they get bred at a completely different time of the year, which, totally is a different topic for a different day. But regardless, I guess you could look at the gestation period of being around 200 days, about a 201 or 200 and 205 day pregnancy length. Do that math. Hell, you can even ask your iPhone or your smartphone, guys. Okay, let's say you got a picture of a fawn. Your cell camera went off today, whatever the date is. All you got to do, especially if you have an iPhone, which I have, is you say, what was the date 201 days ago, 202 days ago, 203 days ago, and boom. If you take the age of that doe or that fawn, who might be a couple days old at that point, and subtract it from that number, you could figure out basically what day that doe was bred, and therefore, if you know that information and you pay attention to it on a yearly basis, you might be able to figure out when you need to be hunting certain locations throughout the country, or properties or anything like that. So it's one of those things. Whitetail season is starting to take off, in my eyes at least, and I'm sure for a lot of you habitat managers and hunters. So if you're looking for a way to scratch that itch, start getting some trail cameras out and maybe start paying attention to that fawn recruitment, that fawn drop, and you might be able to plan a future hunt because of that information. So if you guys like these videos, you like what we're saying, you like the information we're giving out, be sure to like and subscribe. We're always doing giveaways, so that enters you for any of the giveaways. But at the same time, we're putting out a couple videos a week, so if you guys like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Appreciate it.